That's what we've been waiting for!
It's what we wanted all along!
Fuck yeah, baby! Let's go, okay? Let me get my chair. Hold on. Very happy with the Penguins' effort tonight and the result of it. I had a feeling that the Penguins, in the first period, were going to play really good because they were playing really good in the first period. They played good in all three periods tonight. I had a feeling that they were going to end up losing this game and it would be a good loss. But it wasn't. The Penguins won this one 4-1 against the New York Islanders. And, we thought that they were going to turn that corner after that Valentine's Day game. I guess it wasn't the first game back that they did that, but it was the second game back now. Let's go over the lines. Colton Sevier gets scratched. Drew O'Connor comes back in. Zach Troutman is also healthy now, so he goes down to the minors. And I can actually write who's on our scratches on our taxi squad in the blue there. But the most notable line change today came with Kasperi-Kapanen moving up to the first line and Bryan Rust going down on the second line. And really, if you want to look at it as Sullivan's move here, that probably won us the game because right off the bat, this pays dividends for the Penguins. We thought Kapanen got the goal, but he didn't. Rust scores on this one too. The second line scores, the first line scores. It was a pretty good game for the top six tonight. Now, Bryan Rust has 40 points in his last 40 home games played. That's incredible. And I talked on the Pittsburgh Sports Castle podcast with Cody Flavel about, is Bryan Rust elite? Do you guys think that Bryan Rust is a top 15, 20 winger in the National Hockey League? I absolutely think he is. And as I mentioned, he goes on that Malkin line to try and create some more offense, and he does exactly that. However, it's the first line that scores first. Brandon Tanev and Casey Zizekas, they ran into each other the last time the Islanders and the Penguins met, and this game they run into each other again. And they get in a scrap here. I'm putting the scraps and the fights in green now from now on because I got new markers. Woohoo! And yeah, that gets a lot of energy floating in the game, sets the tone of the game. It was a pretty decent scrap. I didn't know Tanev fought, or I don't see Tanev as a fighter that much. He's still a very physical player. And he's exactly what we need, given the fact that Hornquist is no longer on this team, and we don't need a Jamie Alexiak or a Ryan Reeves anymore. So he sets the tone, and the Penguins score right after it. Sidney Crosby eventually gets this goal, even though we thought it was Kasperi-Kapanen. Again, Kapanen moving to the first line. It paid off. As Kasperi-Kapanen used the body, stripped him of the puck, and he scored. And Crosby got the deflection on it. The Penguins are up 1-0. So in the first half of the first period, we got a fight and a first period lead. It's a really good start and exactly what we need is what I wrote down. And this has been the only game of the entire year where the Penguins have not came from behind because they, didn't give up a goal until the very end. Now the Islanders got some of their own chances in this game, and this was not necessarily the Penguins, beating the Islanders and the Islanders playing bad. The Islanders had a good game for the most part. They just didn't have a lot of puck luck, and they just didn't have enough oomph to get over the hump of what the Penguins defense was doing. And Tristan Jarry played very good tonight. He played good in the last game, but as well, and as I mentioned in that one, he didn't get any help. In this game, he did get the help. The Penguins outplayed the Islanders, but that's not to say that the Islanders were playing bad. They were playing very good and getting their own chances. And the second period opens up again, most of the same. Both of the teams were playing good, and again, Jarry was good. Now, something that I'm starting to notice these past couple of games is that Sam Lafferty may be trying a little bit too hard. And I really don't know how to explain that other than the fact that, he took a penalty in this one because he was trying to strip the puck from Varlamov when he was going back behind the net, and he passed to their defenseman. Luckily, they didn't score on that. Also, in the games against the Capitals, you saw Lafferty going after Chara. It's obviously very notable when a guy that's, not Chara's size, which no one in the league is going after him and trying to lay the body. Sometimes this can cost Lafferty. He can be caught on the play. He's more focused on generating those big plays to get more recognizability. But still, at the same time, some of these are good plays. He's gotta find that line in between, going after Zdeno Chara and actually playing defense. And I like Lafferty. I hope he can stay in the lineup. But again, tonight here, the most notable thing he did was take a penalty, and he's been playing fourth line minutes. Also, along those same lines, just an individual player opinion that I had is that Marino has looked a lot better in these past couple of games. It's hard to notice because it's mostly been defensively, but he helped set up the goal, the first goal of this game. He pinched on the wall and trapped the puck there. It's very good to see him, start developing. And of course, Pierre-Olivier Joseph looked great tonight as well. Marcus Pettersson had a couple good looks, but we'll get to Mike Matheson later. The Islanders were pressuring a lot towards the end of the second period. That was probably their best stretch, where they had the most amount of chances that could potentially go in the net. But instead, Mike Matheson with a great passing play, a shot pass to Teddy Blueger. And Blueger gets his third, and really, this is the biggest lead that the Penguins have had the entire season, which is crazy. It's only a 2-goal lead. And Mike Matheson, he looked really, really good tonight. And again, the contract is off the ice type stuff. That's a different scenario. What we want to focus on tonight is how good Matheson was tonight. The contract will never be good. He's the longest signed Penguin right now, which is crazy. He signed for more years than Crosby, but he looked pretty good tonight. He had an assist on the Blueger goal. He had a couple shots on net. He almost scored. I think he hit the post on one attempt that he had, and he looked pretty damn good tonight. I'll get to the PFR question I have, which is kind of related to Matheson later. Now, the Penguins, they start the third with a 2-goal lead. They had a scrap, and they also had a power play with about 1:10 in it. You got to have luck to win, and in this case, the Cal Clutterbuck post that he hit on the 2-on-1 shorthanded almost, turned the tides of this game, but thankfully, Evgeny Malkin, who turned the puck over on the power play in this instance, got bailed out. Tristan Jarry didn't really see it, and hit the crossbar and did not go in. I know a lot of people on the broadcast saw that it looked like it went in. It did not. And the Penguins still have that 2-goal lead. And then eventually Jason Zucker gets his fourth, and it was a great passing play from your second line. And with Rust on it now, I think that is a perfect top 6 for the Penguins. We know that those 6 players are going to be your top 6. It's just a matter of how they're going to be organized. We know Crosby is going to play with Guentzel, and Malkin's going to be our third-line center. You can switch Kapanen, Zucker, and Rust around as however you please. And Zucker, to get on the board tonight, was good as well, because as I mentioned up here, he wore the Willie O'Ree skates. Hopefully that can get him going. He had 3 goals, 2 assists in 5 games. Now he's up to 4 goals. In the third period, I thought the Penguins also did a good job defending, too. They were out shooting the Islanders 8-2 with about 7 minutes left in the game, and that's really strong. However, the Islanders get a power play goal, and Mike Matheson almost blew a really good night. Thankfully, the Penguins had a 3-goal lead, though. Mike Matheson cross-checked Matt Barzal into the boards and got a boarding penalty for it. Could have been a 5-minute major. Thankfully, Barzal was not injured. Mike Matheson was also the player that hit Johnny Boychuk last year in the playoffs and, caused him to, eventually retire over the offseason. So Islanders fans do not like Mike Matheson, and it's, easy to see why. And Nelson scores his 4th of the year, and then the Islanders pull it. They're only down 2 now in this instance, but Brian Rust and Jason Zucker go on a 2-on-0, but there was an empty net, so I'm calling it a 2-on-1 because there wasn't a goalie in the net, and Zucker, gives it to Rust in a very good sportsmanship way. Rust gets his 6th of the year, and the Penguins win this one 4-1. Very good win. This has been the most happy I've been after a PFR the entire year. My PFR question tonight for you guys is, since Mike Matheson had a good game, and I know you can't base the future of the franchise on a good performance against the Islanders on a Thursday night in February, but Brian Dumoulin is still out, and he's coming back soon. He's been skating. Who's out then? Because, with the emergence of Pierre-Olivier Joseph, Ceci's been pretty good. He wasn't really noticeable tonight. Letang's going to stay in the lineup. Marino's going to stay in the lineup. Matheson will stay in the lineup too if he continues to play like he did. Who's out for the Penguins then? And kind of on top of that, do you trade a defenseman? Do you trade a Marcus Pettersson eventually? I'm not saying immediately right now, but the Penguins are literally going to have to make a decision in terms of, scratching a player. And it's not going to be Joseph because, at the start of the year, he wasn't anticipated to be in our top 6. And then now he's playing first pairing minutes. My question is, do we have an expendable defenseman? Can we get rid of a guy like Dumoulin or Pettersson. I think Pettersson makes the most sense, but I still don't want to see him go. You know, I feel like Ceci is going to be the most likely to get scratched, which is crazy because, you know, he's been great for us. I don't know. I talked about the crazy possibility of the idea of trading Joseph-Letang on the Pittsburgh Sports Castle podcast as well. Go check that out. I'm not even going to get into that discussion right now. But overall, a 4-1 win for the Penguins tonight. Tristan Jarry, so close to getting that shutout tonight. But I'm still giving him my first star. Crosby played, you know, a Crosby game. I'll give him my second star. And I really like Mike Matheson tonight. So that is it for this one. Thank you all. Doing a subscriber giveaway once I reach 500 subscribers from Mark Recchi jersey card. I'll be giving out to one lucky subscriber. Please go check that out as well. And again, thank you as always. If you don't like my opinions, well, too bad. These are my own opinions. I'll see you guys Saturday for another rematch against the Islanders.